This is your August update for our Windy City adventure. I'm here this morning at Community Christian Church's Yellow Box in Naperville campus. This is one of the biggest campuses that we have at Community Christian Church. That's where a lot of our offices are, and I've got a couple meetings this morning here at the Yellow Box. So I'm meeting here, but wanted to give you guys a quick update about our Windy City adventure. The past month has been a lot of fun. It's been a great adventure of getting to do a lot of different things. Since our last update, I've gotten to speak again at the Lincoln Square campus, which has been another blessing and just a huge blessing to be a part of that ministry team and reaching the people of Lincoln Square. Amanda and I have gotten to go on a trip to go down to Knoxville and go to Abingdon to see all of our Southwest Virginia and Northeast Tennessee fans and supporters, and it's been great catching up with all of you. And while we were there, we shared some really exciting news that I want to share now with all of you. Just a huge update, as Amanda and I have really been thinking and praying about our church and what we've been wanting. And as many of you know, we've been earnestly seeking where God is placing us in the city and where we see the needs of people coming back to God. And the neighborhood that has popped up to us and continues to be on our hearts is the South Loop. The South Loop is a community just south of the city of Chicago, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful community where we see so many needs. Just to give you a quick statistic, the target area that we're looking at is about 3 square miles, and there's 45,000 people living within those 3 square miles. And that's one of the few communities in Chicago that have been a growing community in the past couple years. In fact, it's projected to grow up to 50,000 by the year 2017. So it's a growing community, but also has a lot of history. And unfortunately, not a lot of good history. In fact, this area was once known as Satan's Mile back in the 1800s, where a lot of bars and a lot of brothels took place right there in a lot of shady areas. And it's just so exciting to see how God has started to transform that community, and possibly just the opportunity that we have to change Satan's mile into God's mile, and just the opportunity to see restoration and redemption done in the city of Chicago, in that community of the South Loop. Just to give you a little bit more statistics of that, it's a very diverse community where there's about 40% Caucasian, 28% Asian, 16% African American. But the population, a large majority of them is the age between 22 and 50. 62% of the population is within that range, which is a really high number. It's just a good target area that we see a real need for the church. There are just some huge needs that the South Loop has. It has a very small amount of churches. For 45,000 individuals, we're looking at somewhere around 10 churches possibly. There's just a huge need for more churches in the area. One of the problems that we've seen more and more, and that we've heard from others, is the loneliness factor of the city. That the loneliness, especially in the South Loop, there's just so much transiency in that area that many people lack community, and that's something that I believe the church can provide and needs to provide for that community. Another huge focus is the need for family focused. Among that huge population, the mass majority of them are singles or even couples, and there's a small little nugget of people that's trying to build a family and grow a family in the city, and those people need an outlet and need a place that everyone can work together to build community with one another. And we think the church could be that for them. And lastly, one of the huge needs that there is a huge poverty need. 21% of the population lives underneath a income of $15,000. And that's just an astounding number that just is speaking the need for a church to come in and bring about restoration in that community. So we were just real excited to share that with you, to share that we've been earnestly praying and seeking God. I know many of you have been praying about that and praying about the location for us. and it's just been a huge blessing. So now that that's kind of out of the way, we're excited in the upcoming month to start working out many more details, trying to figure out more of the logistics of our church plant, along with trying to deal with the fundraising aspect of raising for a church and starting to recruit people. So if you wouldn't mind, the big prayer request that we have is for people, praying for workers of the harvest. I just had a conversation just this past week with an individual who's considering and praying over coming and being a part of our plant here in the city. And I couldn't be more excited that God is convicting people, and maybe convicting you, to come here to be a part of our church plant. And if that's something that's been on your heart, I'd love to talk to you about it. Another thing that we're really going to be working on is our fundraising effort. Our first year we did a bunch of fundraising to raise $135,000, which was my salary for the upcoming 3 years. But now we're going to have to start transitioning to fundraising for an entire church. And so our goal with that is to raise a total amount of $600,000. It seems a little daunting to talk about that kind of money, but honestly with the South Loop, it's just such an expensive climate that it's really needed. So with that though, what's been encouraging is that 135 has already been raised. So that means that we have $465,000 left to raise. And so we're going to be doing that through starting with you. We'd like to encourage many of you, if you gave just a one-time gift, thank you so much for that. It's been such a blessing to be able to use that. But now we're going to ask for you to maybe step up and start committing on a monthly basis, to commit to our cause and to commit to our church plant, to see people in the South Loop come to Christ. For those of you that are doing a monthly commitment, thank you so much for that and the blessing that has been to Amanda and I. And we just want to encourage you to consider, if it's been a short-term monthly commitment, to re-up on that commitment to multiple years. If it's been, if you already have that commitment, to consider giving us a startup fund. There's lots of things that we're wanting to do in the South Loop in this upcoming 6 months that we need just the finances to be able to provide for that. And also, lastly, one of the things that we're going to start doing is I'm going to start planning and working towards doing a tour across the country, trying to raise support. And so if you know of a church or a partnership or an organization that would consider partnering with us, I'd love to have a conversation with anyone. I'm passionate about seeing people come back to God in the South Loop, and I think I can communicate that and share that with anyone and everyone who's interested in partnering with us. So if your local church isn't supporting us, or if you don't even know if they do, ask. And I'd love to have a conversation with them. I am willing to go just about anywhere to talk to anyone, to talk to any organization about what God is doing here in the city of Chicago and the opportunity to see people come back to God. So if that's the case, be willing to reach out and be our ambassadors for us, promote us, and help us raise that $400,000 that we need to have to start up this church. It's been such a blessing, and I continue to be amazed at what God is doing and just excited to see Him move here in the city. For those of you who are praying for us, thank you so much. Continue to do so. And once again, we just love to hear from you guys. We always love hearing updates from people around the world, just about what you're doing and how God is moving in your hearts and in your ministry. So send us a quick note. We'd love to hear from you. But if not, we hope you have a great month of September, and I look forward to talking to you and giving you an update then. Thank you so much, and God bless.
First, Jesus.